It's about 9:45 a.m. West Coast time on Wednesday, April 9th. Donald Trump's tariffs are in effect right now. They went into effect at midnight globally. The ones on that dumb chart where they got an incorrect formula from ChatGPT. Leading the charge is convicted felon Peter Navarro. So they're here. They're in effect 104% against China. This is where we're at. The free trade system that the United States has embraced and nurtured since the mid-1930s has been officially torpedoed by direct order of the president. He's doing this on purpose. America's trade barriers are now higher than at any point in the past 100 years, and key trade partners, Canada, China, Europe, are all preparing to hit back. And Trump made clear last night that this is not the high watermark. He could go higher with the tariffs. And that tariffs on the pharmaceutical industry are coming next. This is from the playbook. This is Trump's America. You all saw the chart. Now it's reality for importers and soon for consumers across the United States. A 104% tax on cheap consumer goods from China, a 46% tax on cheap clothes made in Vietnam, a 24% tax on Japanese machinery and electronics, a 20% tax on European food, drink, and goods. Bank CEOs are very upset. They had a big meeting in Washington last week. They're upset that Donald Trump is not taking their calls. They were comparing notes as to when the last time was they spoke with Trump, and none of them had spoken with him recently. His tariffs are rattling global markets. They've convulsed as sweeping tariffs went into effect, setting up Wall Street for another tense session today. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Taking center stage was the sell-off in U.S. Treasuries, a keystone asset in global financial markets. The yield on the 10-year note has skyrocketed. That's the rate that Donald Trump wanted to crater so that he could refinance American debt. Instead, it skyrocketed. It's up as high as 4.5% right now. It was in the low threes a few days ago. For bond investors, the sharp yields echo a sell-off at the depth of COVID meltdown when traders sold whatever they could to raise cash. The issue that is really worrying traders right now is that U.S. bond yields have soared even as the stock market tumbles, a highly unusual situation, which, if sustained, could mean higher borrowing costs for everybody, from mortgage rates to consumer and business credit. He's put the Fed in a no-win situation. Everything is unpredictable and stupid, and the Fed can't operate in that kind of environment. According to the New York Times, Wall Street billionaires are not used to being on the outside looking in, but that is where they find themselves after Trump ignored their appeals to call off his tariff plans, which they fear could endanger the economy. So he's talking to Peter Navarro, aka Ron Vera, and his Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who thinks that every American lays in bed at night dreaming of an assembly line job in a factory. Trump spoke to a group of Republicans last night, Tuesday evening, told them that foreign leaders, the countries are calling us up. They're kissing my ass. They're dying to make a deal. Please, please, sir, please make a deal. I'll do anything, sir. Politico contacted foreign leaders and said, well, we called him, and then none of them are calling us back. Doesn't sound like they're actually groveling. A dozen House Republicans are considering signing on to legislation being proposed by Republican Don Bacon from Nebraska to restrict the White House's ability to impose tariffs unilaterally. Hey, there's an idea. It is an experiment in recklessness. It is even driving a wedge in between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who referred to Peter Navarro on Twitter, his word, not mine, as Peter Retardo. Elon Musk slammed President Trump's top trade advisor as dumber than a sack of bricks on Tuesday as tensions between Musk and Peter Navarro exploded over wide-ranging tariffs that have upended the global economy. Mr. Musk directed his criticism at Peter Navarro, who on Monday said Musk was not a car manufacturer, but a car assembler, because Tesla relied on parts from around the world. Mr. Musk fired back, defending his company, and called Mr. Navarro a moron. Mr. Navarro, he said, should consult the fake expert he invented, Ron Vera, the imaginary source Mr. Navarro invented to bolster his many books on economics. I said it in a TikTok yesterday, kind of as a joke. The entire planet is being held hostage by people with room temperature IQs. And they're destroying everything. They're destroying literally everything in this country. It's at a scale and a scope that I don't even know how normal people could prepare to ride this out, because none of them know what they're doing. There's no like end point that they have enumerated. Like when they get to this point, they're like, okay, we're done. That's what we wanted to accomplish. We're done. That doesn't exist. They're just doing this. They're just burning everything from down to the ground with no plan. Cool.